Welcome to A Homespun House. I'm Molly and thank you so much for joining me today. I have been knitting. I've been knitting a lot this past week and I feel like the knitting bug has just hit me. It's been so fantastic. I know I sound like a little girl, but it's so exciting. It's so exciting to really be knitting. I don't know what's happened. All I've wanted to do is knit, and it's the craziest thing because the weather has gotten hotter. It's so warm here. It's definitely sleeveless shirts, shorts, or dresses weather because it is so sunny and hot outside. We've just had the coldest, I mean it hasn't been cold, but we've had such a cool summer that every once in a while, every couple of days we'll have weather where it's just hot and then it will cool down, and this week it's just been hot and it's so hot that we can go swimming, which is so nice. So we're thinking about maybe going to Robert's parents this weekend. They have a really nice lake in their yard. It's a really small kind of lake that's really beautiful. I've posted pictures of it on Instagram. So maybe we'll go there. It's about 2 hours away and go swimming and spend the entire weekend outside. Yes, so I don't know. It's so funny that I've been so into my knitting because, like I just mentioned, it's really hot and usually people aren't knitting big woolly projects in such heat. And all of my projects have been knit with a wool. Nothing has been knit with light cotton or linen or bamboo. It's all been real warm wool. What have I been working on this past week, you ask? I finally have a finished project, a finished object. I feel like when I first began, I had finished objects left and right. And I haven't had one for a really long time. So it's awesome to have one. Emma's birthday was on Tuesday, and you all know that there was this owl sweater by Kate Davies, and I ripped it out. I had knit initially almost all the way up to the underarms, and I just wasn't happy with it. I wasn't happy with it at all. I wasn't happy with the way that the yarn was knitting up. So as I mentioned last week, I ripped it out. There was no point in working on it if I didn't love it. So I said I was working on a secret project, and I was. I was knitting on the same exact sweater with the same exact yarn. So let me show you the sweater. This is how it turned out. It's adorable. I really love it now in the end. I have the cuffs rolled up, which is how I really like it. I knit them a little bit long as the sweater, so that it's able to be worn as a tunic and then transform into a sweater when you want to then roll the sleeves down. But I think it looks adorable with them rolled up. So let me tell you why I decided to cast this on again. What changed my mind? What made me think, okay, if I didn't like it the first time, why am I going to like it now? So I cast on the same size as Elodie's. And when I did this, I wasn't thinking that Emma is smaller than Elodie. And it was just way too big. I was using a smaller needle. I was using the needle that the pattern called for, and it just wasn't working. The fabric that I was getting wasn't nice at all. It was really thick and dense, and it wasn't a fabric that I liked. It wasn't a fabric that I thought was soft and cozy and squishy and just perfect for a little girl who will be 3. And so I thought, I'm going to knit up just a quick swatch and do it in one size larger. So instead of, I believe, a 7, knit it in an 8, which I did. And I really loved the fabric. And I messed around with the pattern quite a bit because I really needed to customize it so that it fit Emma. I like more of a fitted sweater for a child. Yes, this is going to be a sort of a tunic style at first and transform into a sweater, but I think Emma will never be chubby or pudgy that it would be too tight on her. It has a little bit of a loose flowy fit, but it's so, it still is fitted in the same way. So I really love the way the fabric feels. It's just really nice and comfy and cozy, and I think it knit up so much nicer this time. I enjoyed it thoroughly. The entire knit was a pleasure to knit on. It wasn't ever at any point something that I dreaded. It was something this time that I enjoyed and I really liked working on, and I'm happy that I decided to use the yarn in the end to cast on an owlet sweater. Now the thing that worries me a little bit about the sweater is when I told Tina that I actually ripped it out, she told me that she actually wasn't so sure about the blue. Now she told me this after I cast it on, and she has no idea that I've cast it on, but I did. I like it. I think it's nice. I think it will look adorable on Emma. She has beautiful brown hair and these amazingly ocean blue eyes. And I think that this will look really pretty with her brown hair and blue eyes. So I put two little tiny buttons at the eyes of just one of the owls. I know some of the patterns have buttons on every eye, and all of the sweaters that I've made for Elodie have no buttons. But I made a sweater that someone purchased from me. It was a commission owlet sweater, and I put buttons on just one of the owls, and I really liked the way it looks, because then you know, oh, you see, oh, that's an owl. And the buttons are really simple, that I don't think that it takes too much attention away from the knitting. I think it turned out fantastic. I'm very happy with it. I'm happy I stuck with it. I hope when Tina sees it, she's happy about the owls. So even though this is completely a knitting podcast, I can show you what else Emma's getting for her birthday. So Elodie loves kaleidoscopes. She just thinks they're really cool. And I thought Robert and I went looking around the toy store for some fun things to give Emma. I mean, she's already getting a hand knit sweater. So we found this really, really nice kaleidoscope. It's a really, really thick kind of aluminum sort of material. It's really well made, and that's one thing that we've noticed about Elodie's kaleidoscopes. I think she's had either 2 or 3, and they've all broken because they've been that kind of thick cardboardy material. So here is Emma's. I don't even think that this will zoom in on the inside of the kaleidoscope, but it's really sweet, and I think it's something that she can have fun with. A sweater is fun. Yeah, it's nice for her mom. You know, she gets a nice hand-knit sweater, something cozy to wear in the fall. But we wanted something that she can really play with as well and enjoy. So we bought her this really fun, really well-made kaleidoscope. And then Elodie has one of these, and she really likes it. And Emma's favorite color is red, or so she says. So we got her a cute little clock. It's not real, it's a wooden one, but it's so sweet. And there's a little heart on the front, and then pink and red beads. And then this is the card that we'll be giving Emma. Just the pretty glittery princess with the knight coming down. So those will be Emma's gifts for her birthday. Her owlet sweater, a really fun kaleidoscope, and the sweet little wooden watch. I think she'll enjoy it. I think she'll have fun with them. And I'm happy that I've made something that can keep her warm and cozy when she's outside playing in the fall or inside in the winter. And then I finished something else. What is going on this week? So I've completely recast on and knit the owlet sweater, and now I have finished, not completely finished, because the ends aren't woven in. I don't block my socks. I never block my socks. the first time that my socks will ever be blocked is when they're washed after they've been worn. So I finished my Operation Warm Feet for Grandpa socks. Here they are. The feet are just massive. I was talking to Tina about this at Emma's birthday, and she said the same thing. She said they just look huge. So here's the first one, and then here is the second one. So Grandpa, these socks will be on their way to you soon. Are you so excited? I'm sure you are. I'm really happy to have them finished. I'm beyond happy to have knit my grandpa a pair of socks. If he likes them, I don't think this will be the only pair that he ever gets, because I just had a lot of fun knowing that I was knitting these for him and knowing that he will actually be getting a pair of socks that aren't super thick clog-like socks that he can wear all the time. He can wear them all the time in the winter, and I hope they fit. Grandpa, you haven't been around to try these on and see how they're working, but I hope they fit you. That is my deepest wish, is that they fit, because it will be so sad if they arrive at his door and he tries them on and they're too small or they're too big. Now, of course, my grandma could fix that. She could rip them back, but I cannot see her doing that. Grandma, you wouldn't do that, would you? I don't know. She's the kind of person who doesn't really like to rip back and then fiddle with things again once they're finished and off of the needles. And I can totally understand that, because I have a pair of socks that I knit and I want to give as a Christmas gift. And one of them is too short. I have to rip back the toe, and it maybe requires, I would say, an hour worth of work. And then that pair of socks will be finished, but I have just been dreading re-knitting this pair of socks. So these are done. I just have to weave in the ends. That'll take a couple of minutes. And I guess I'll put together a fun little package maybe. His birthday's coming up in October, so yeah, Grandpa, those will be on their way to you. So of course, because I finished a pair of socks, I had to cast on another pair. I decided to use the yarn that I received last week. So I caked up my ball of Trekking XXL yarn. This is the one that she said looked like ice cream. And I knit a bit on these. I mean, I finished that one pair of socks, and I've already gotten so much knitting done on this one sock. So I have the leg completely finished, and these are turning out so cute. I'm calling these actually my World Cup socks, because I cast these on the day of the World Cup, and we won, by the way, which was extremely exciting. I have the winning goal filmed, and oh my god, we watched the game with Emma's parents, Michi and Tina, the ones who I'm always talking about. You can tell that they're good friends of ours, right? Oh my goodness, it was so funny how crazy everyone was freaking out. Robert was freaking out the most. We were all really excited. The men, of course, were the most excited because they are ridiculous soccer fans. But we won. It's so exciting. I'm so happy that the Germany is the world champion for 4 years. So exciting. So anyway, back to my knitting. These are my World Cup socks. I thought that if I cast on a pair the day of the World Cup, maybe it would be good luck for the team and maybe it would help them win. I know that sounds ridiculous. I was kind of joking, but now I feel like every World Cup, I have to cast on a pair of socks because I'm imagining Germany will be in. They're like one of the best soccer teams. Anyway, this sock is why Germany won. I knit the Fish Lips Kiss Heel, and I'm already onto the foot. So I don't know who these will be for. I'm sure they'll probably be for me, but I don't know. I feel like as I'm knitting socks, they always just kind of turn into being for someone. I don't normally cast on a pair of socks for someone, unless it's a man. But women's socks are never generally cast on for a specific person in mind. So these, I have no idea. They could be for me, they could be for my mom, they could be for a friend. I don't know. It's not screaming anybody's name to me at the moment. I'm using my Knit Pro Carbons needles. And these are 2.5 millimeter needles. My favorite sock knitting needles, of course. And I have been measuring them with one of my favorite little measuring tapes. I've shown this to you guys before. I got it from a viewer. She sent it with some of her mini skeins. And I adore it. I love having just random, really sweet tape measures, because how many can you have? I mean, it's nice to have one in each bag. I'm sewing as well, so I use it from time to time. I have two. I just have two of them, but I guess you don't need a ton. But I like to have different fun, crazy ones inside of different bags. Okay, so that's my first work in progress. My next work in progress, I don't know why, but this work in progress got me so excited. I don't think I have been so excited about a project in a while. So I've recently started watching a new podcast called, oh goodness, what's it called? It's by Oloops, and I think it's called Fiber by Design. And it's the girls of the Oloops podcast, of the Oloops yarn shop. And they have a podcast. I think they're maybe on their 15th episode. Maybe they're coming out with their 16th. And I don't even know how I stumbled across this podcast. I know I was really interested in their Etsy shop, and they make amazingly beautiful yarns. They do some really fun clubs, and I just fell in love with their Etsy store. And then I somehow found out that they had a podcast. Maybe I got an invite, or maybe... No, I heard about it. I heard about it from, oh goodness, the Osnit girls. And they were raving about them and about their yarn, of course. And so I watched it. I watched their newest one, and then I think I watched their first 2 episodes. And on the first or the second episode, Sarah Stevens, talks about this baby blanket that she's knitting. And it's called the Spiral Blanket of Awesome. I always want to call it the Spiral Blanket of Awesomeness. And she kind of just put together a bunch of random yarns, maybe 5 different yarns, kind of like with a magic cake concept. So I thought, I really want to do that. In one of the packages that I got from one of my viewers, and from a lot of the mini skeins that I get for my Cozy Memories blanket, I have a little bit of yarn left. There have been a couple of viewers who have sent me yarn that I maybe needed an extra yard, but most commonly I had a little ball of yarn left in the end. So I decided that I wanted to make a spiral blanket of awesome. It's so much fun. It's just a big circular baby blanket, and then it has just a spiral of yarn overs going around in it. It's really pretty. It's a free pattern. It's designed by, I believe, the host of the Irish Girls podcast or something like that. I've never seen or heard or listened to this podcast before, but yeah. So I made up a magic cake with a lot of different colors. I don't know how many there are in here. I would say 15 or more. It's just really fun because all of this yarn isn't yarn that I have purchased. It's all yarn that is left over from either my viewers, from either a sponsor of the podcast, or from my grandma. So it's kind of like a Cozy Memories blanket, but spiral blanket of awesomeness shawl, or not shawl, I'm sorry, blanket for a future child. Now, I'm not pregnant right now, so nobody gets super excited, but I was just so inspired by her project that I thought I need to cast one of these on. So it's all in fingering weight yarn, and I'm knitting it on size, oh goodness, I think 7 needles. But the fabric is coming out quite nicely. So this is my magic cake. I'll let you look at it from both sides because the yarn is a little bit different from both sides. I'm so curious how it's going to turn out. So I have put this in a new Super Bright project bag. I have it in my Mother Bee project bag, which I'm selling. Like I've mentioned before, if you want to buy any of the project bags that I'm showing, they're for sale. You just have to write me on Etsy and I can have it shipped to you. I will be opening a shop soon, sometime in September, and but for now on I'm just kind of randomly sewing up bags, getting them ready for September, and if you like them in the meantime, you can purchase one. It's obviously not a big deal. So this is the blanket so far. It's kind of hard to see because I have it on my needles, of course, so you can't really see the spiral design. And I'm really, really enjoying it, but this was completely the wrong choice. This yarn right here in the middle, it's one of my favorite yarns that I received. I really liked it when I got it for my Cozy Memories blanket, and I knit a bird of happiness with it, but it doesn't go with these colors. I feel like it just looks very awkward. I realized it after I knit this blue round, and I don't know why I didn't just rip it out right away. I just kept knitting and kept knitting and kept knitting. I think it's because the first couple of rounds are completely fiddly. They're completely fiddly, and I didn't want to fiddle with it again, which was dumb. It was really dumb on my part. So now here I am knitting this blanket, and I don't really like the center yarn. And I feel like, why am I not just ripping it out? Why am I not just ripping it out? What is the problem? Yes, I've spent a bit of time knitting on this, but I don't know why I can't rip it out. I've never really had this big of a problem ripping something out. And I feel like I should. I really feel like I should as I'm talking about it right now. And because there is no said baby, there's lots of time to knit a blanket for a future baby. The colors that I've chosen are really gem tone colors. They're browns, they're purples, they're greens, blue, whites, creams, some speckled yarns, some tonal yarns, variegated. So it's quite unisex. There's some pink in there, but I'm totally fine with a boy having little splotches of speckled pink on his blanket. I'm not too particular about that sort of thing. But I don't know, maybe I need to set it down for a couple of days, or just rip it out and then set it aside for a day, breathe, and recast it on. I don't know why. I just feel frustrated that I didn't rip it out right away. And the more that I talk about it, maybe I needed to sit in front of you guys and vent about it and talk about it, because I haven't talked with anyone about the blanket. Robert knows that I'm knitting it. He's seen that I'm knitting it. I showed it to him and asked him if it looked awkward. I didn't tell him I thought it looked awkward because I didn't want to kind of ingrain my opinion in his mind. And he said it looked fine. But me being the knitter, me being the person who's spending all of this time working on it, I think I'm going to rip it out, which is sad because I went from 5 stitches onto my needle, and now I have, I would say, 200. So it's frustrating, but I think it's for the better. Yeah, I think I will just take this yarn out of here. And maybe even add something else. We'll see. I have to think about it a bit more. But I think now is the time to to rip it out, which is sad because I've spent a bit of time on it. I'm using my Such Wonderful Stuff stitch markers, which I've been using for quite a while. You all know I love them. They're just not fussy. They're just super easy to work around. And then for my beginning of the round, I'm using some one stitch marker. I have a couple of them. It's really pretty, that a friend gifted me, a friend here in Berlin. And I have a bit of these, but I needed something different for the beginning of the round to be able to tell the difference. So this will be getting ripped out. So sad. And I think I'll go down a needle size. I accidentally grabbed a 4.5 millimeter and I meant to grab a 4. And I think that it's just knitting up too loosely. I don't know. I don't know exactly. I need to think about it. This is the project that I was so excited about. I still am very excited about it. I think it's such a fun pattern. When Sarah showed hers and talked about hers, I thought, that looks so cute. I love that it's a circle. It's just something different. It's fun. It's nice for fingering weight yarn. It just looked really pretty, and she's made a bit of them. You can make it in any size of yarn you want. In DK, in worsted, in bulky, in fingering, of course. And I just love fingering, you all know. So this will be ripped out. It needs to be. I'm just not having luck with some projects lately, but I love it. I really love it. I'm happy that I found the O-Loops podcast. The podcasts get better and better and better. I'm really looking forward to the 16th episode and then catching up on the episodes. And I love that they're filming outside. I really, really love that. I think the last 3 episodes they've filmed outside. So I hope that my next podcast I can film outside, because Robert and I went to one of our favorite parks in Berlin. We went yesterday and we played basketball and we played frisbee and we played football for a little bit, and then we just laid in the grass for a while and read through his monologue, because he's an actor. So we read through one of his monologues for a play that he has coming up. And while we were there, I thought, it's quiet enough here. There are people here, of course. And I'm not one who would really feel awkward filming with people around. But it's quiet enough that I could film, and it would be fun for you guys to just kind of see me sitting out in the nature. You won't really be able to see any of Berlin, but I think it would be fun to just change up scenery a little bit. The last thing that I've been working on, and am always constantly working on, is my Cozy Memories blanket. I don't know. I think I've only added 4 squares to this since we last spoke. Or maybe I've added 3. I think I've added this one, or 4. This one, which is a yarn that I absolutely adore. This one, which I actually had to add a little bit of this yarn to, right here at the end. Here, let's show you it from the front. Because I ran out of yarn. And then I added this one, which is another Vincent van Gogh yarn. I just love those yarns. So it's slowly coming along. I have one more skein, and then I will be finished with Melinda's yarn. So there is that one. It feels like it's a cashmere blend. It's really soft, or a silk blend. And then I have, I'll do these 4. I've already balled one up. It's the next one that I will add. And I'm still saving that Christmas one come Christmas time. I also have a little skein or a little ball of hand spun that I took off my spindle. It's a single ply. I thought it would be fun to add that to the blanket as well. It's definitely enough because it's very finely spun. So that's my Cozy Memories blanket. It's kind of taken a little bit of a timeout while I was working on my spiral blanket of awesomeness. I'm gonna put the end on the end of that because I think it needs it. Okay. So those are my works in progress. I've had a lot of fun knitting this week. And if we're gone at Robert's parents' house, I will definitely take something to knit. Probably the spiral blanket of awesomeness because it's an easy project and I like it. I love it. I want to have fun memories with it, and it's small enough at the moment. My Cozy Memories blanket is getting really big that it's something that I'm only working on at home now. And I'm adding the squares as I go, so it's not like I can knit a square and it's not a project that I can travel with by any means. So what else is going on? I feel like I've really forgotten something. What is in these project bags? Things that I have already shown. So that is what is on my needles, what's off my needles. I have been spinning a little bit. I've spun 1 ounce of my Edgewood Garden fiber. It's still on the wheel. The end is just hanging off of it a bit. I'm still totally enjoying this. I'm really loving spinning fibers. This is all that I have left. I hope to have it finished by next podcast. I don't foresee it being plied, although as soon as I finish spinning something, it's really hard for me not to jump on the bandwagon and spin that baby up immediately. Because for me, that is the most exciting thing, is plying yarn. I love it. I love it. I don't even know. It's like a super, I get really excited about it. Why? I don't know, but plying yarn is like whatever your crazy guilty pleasure is. It's not a guilty pleasure for me at all, but I love to ply yarn. So that's fun, and I've had a lot of fun looking through my fiber stash and figuring out what I want to spin next. I have some roving from Spin Monkey that I cannot think. That one of the girls from the Oh Snit podcast, Sarah, has as well, and she wants to spin it for her Tour de Fleece, and I thought it would be really fun to maybe spin it at the same time that she spins it, or spin it, you know, kind of somewhere around the same time that she's spinning it, just to see how ours is turning out. I'm really curious how hers is going to come out when it's plied, and how mine is going to come out when it's plied. Because there are so many different techniques and ways that you can spin it. I did not make my pom-pom garland. I started to the day that I filmed that podcast, but I didn't have the right yarn. I've always wanted to start making some sort of garland, a pom-pom garland. Now I think about doing a granny flag, like a granny square triangle garland. But I don't have the right kind of yarn. I don't have scraps that I would like to make it with. I would like to do it in cotton yarn, but I don't have any cotton yarn really. There's a really good sale going on right now. Tina is buying some yarn from Drops. They have all of their Drops cotton yarn is like 35% off. So we're thinking about doing a purchase together. And maybe I'll buy some yarn then for a garland. But right now I think I'm going to hold off and think about it a little bit more. I need to get the right yarn in my hands for it. So that is the handcraft along. It's coming to an end, which is so crazy. It's boggling my mind that July is almost finished with. August is almost here. And you guys have been awesome. You guys have been so awesome in the handcraft along. It's been so enjoyable. We have some amazing prizes. We have our earrings, stitch markers, soap from Tuft Woolens, yarn, hand spun art yarn from Weird and Twisted. We have our smudge yarns with the earrings from the Handmade Hippo, again Tuft Woolens. wool wash, the Such Wonderful Stuff stitch markers, Caffeinated Sheep stitch markers. Lots of awesome prizes going on there. I'm so excited that 2 of you will get something really fun for joining in the handcraft along. And once August rolls around, Kristen from the Yarngasm podcast, we've teamed up and we are having another fun knit along for August. Keep doing your handcrafts. Don't stop just because the handcraft along has ended. However, in August we will be doing the classic must knits knit along. Is what we've decided to co-host together. I'm really excited to do a knit along with Kristen because I love her podcast. I love her personality. She is such an interesting, fun person. I really like watching her. She's very, very real seeming and super cute. So anyway, the Must Knits podcast, or the classical Must Knits, is basically exactly what it sounds like. It is a knit along where we will be knitting those classical knits that have just been really going around Ravelry, and a lot of people have been knitting, such as the Ishbel shawl, the Daybreak, the Hitchhiker, the Hermione's Everyday Socks, Featherweight cardigan, the Sockhead hat. There's a list of them that Kristen has currently in one of her threads at the Yarngasm podcast. I will open up a thread as well about the August Classical Must Knits knit along. I hope you guys are interested. I hope it sounds like something that you would like to do, because you all know that I want all of you to be excited about and interested and knitting right along with us. It's nice that we have a second person joining in, Kristen. I was so excited when she contacted me and asked me if I wanted to do this with her, because there are a lot of classical patterns that I have really been wanting to knit. And the ones that I just mentioned, like I said, are not all of the ones. You can request that something be added to the list, and Kristen has more things added to the list. I would love to make a featherweight. I don't know if that's what I will be making, and I would really like to make Hermione's Everyday Socks. I've always seen a lot of pictures of these socks and have been wanting to knit them, so I'm almost positive that that will be a pattern that I will cast on for the knit along. I'm really excited about it. There will be more details next week. How long the knit along will be going. We haven't even decided if it will be just August or August and September. Yeah, so I'm excited about it. I hope you all are too. If you haven't seen Kristen's podcast, totally go check it out. She's so awesome. She's so cute. She has her own yarn shop called Wool and Vine Yarns. Makes amazing hand-dyed yarns. And I love her. So, yeah, I have received a really cool package this week with some yarn. So this first one is called Test Green, and it is from Your Mom Knits. It is a superwash merino nylon blend, 400 yards, 80/20. And it is this really pretty mint green. I don't know if the camera will pick it up, but I hope it doesn't look like it's just one solid color, because it's a little bit tonal, not extremely tonal, but here it's very minty in spots, and then in others it's absolutely stunning. It has such a nice twist to the yarn. I love the way it feels, and I look forward to knitting something with this. I don't know what. I have some ideas. I might use it in one of my designs, or I might not. So the second skein is so cool. I've really been interested in this yarn with black in it. I don't think I own any variegated or tonal yarn that has black in it. This one's called Sarah. This is the Octo Sport base. 100% superwash merino, 270 yards. It's really pretty. I'm so intrigued by it. So it's black, of course. It has that same sort of green. It's a lot more citrusy, actually. And then it has the pink, and it looks like a little bit of black and blue even. I really like it. So pretty. So pretty. I was absolutely in shock when I opened up the package and saw this one especially, because it's just gorgeous. I cannot wait to knit something up with this black one. I don't know what it will be. What would you guys knit with this? There are so many patterns for fingering weight yarn. I'm sure it would look really neat as a shawl. My first thoughts are shawl, socks. I can't knit socks actually because it's 270 yards. So you have to keep that in mind, 270 yards. It's beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, so I'm getting really hot. It's so warm in here. I need to open up the windows. I had them closed because it's really loud. Mail's being delivered at this time. People are, I don't even know what, taking their lunch breaks and are just really loud outside. So I've had a really fantastic knitting week. I've had a lot of fun spinning. I've had some fun sewing. Oh my goodness, I almost forgot to show you guys these. So these are the bags that I have left. So I have this one, the Mother Bee, adorable. Grandmother's Garden, or I think, yeah. Tea Time. Roar. And that's it. So I just have 4 project bags left. Is that even real? I guess it is. I don't know what I will be working on for the handcraft along this next week. Probably my spinning, like I said. I would love to have the last ounce finished. That would be fun. But I don't know. We'll see. Whatever I really feel like knitting and whatever I feel like spinning, whatever I feel like doing, that is what I will do this week. You guys know me. I'm not really pressured into deadlines, and I just want to love what I'm doing. So you guys have a fantastic week. I am going to go and sit out on the balcony, have lunch, because I am ridiculously hungry. My stomach is rumbling and grumbling. And maybe spin out on the balcony because, like I said, it's really sunny. It's not really windy. So I'll have to find a little shady spot or maybe pop up the umbrella. And yes, oh, maybe I will make a smoothie. We have been religiously making 1 or 2 smoothies every single day. It is fantastic because it's so healthy. It's just, I'm not the best person at eating my fruits. So the smoothie is just so fantastic. All that I put in it is whatever fruits I have lying around. And I always put in a banana because it adds some sweetness, and it just makes it a little bit thicker. I freeze the bananas. I wait until they're really ripe because I like my bananas when they have the brown spots on the peel, not on the banana. Ew. And then I freeze them. I cut it into slices, freeze it. And I like to have almost all of my fruit frozen. Obviously ripe and fresh, and then I freeze it. So my favorite, and Elodie's favorite because she is the queen of drinking smoothies. This is usually what she has for breakfast. It's the only thing she'll have for breakfast, which makes me happy because it's so healthy, like I said. And sometimes she prefers to have it for dinner, which I'm fine with because she's eating and getting enough calories during the day, and maybe with her breakfast she'll have some veggies or some bread with something. Yeah. So her favorite is 1 banana, maybe 2 scoops of vanilla yogurt, and loads of strawberries. And that's it. and it's delicious and it's tasty. It's so, so yummy. And if they're frozen, it's the best. You just drink it with a bigger straw because it's quite thick. It's almost ice cream-like. You could even eat it with a spoon if it was that frozen. And we love it. We love them. I like banana and then one other huge handful of fruit. I don't like to mix up a lot of fruit. I don't really like all those crazy different flavors. So I like banana with blueberries is really good, and I always put 1 or 2 scoops of vanilla yogurt in there, or just a plain yogurt is also really good. The banana has enough sweetness that you don't have to add anything to sweeten it. So that's what we have really been enjoying is smoothies. So maybe I'll have one of those for lunch. I don't know. We're having Tina and Michi over this evening for grilling. We'll grill and have some really tasty food. I have some zucchini that I need to get rid of, so we'll probably grill up that zucchini, which I'm not complaining about because I adore grilled zucchini. So it will be fun. I'm excited about the week ahead. I know the weather's going to be fantastic. If we go to Robert's parents' house, it's always a grand time. I can get a little bit of knitting time in there. We can go swimming, spend time outside, grilling this evening. I know we'll grill at Robert's parents'. They have a huge stone grill outside. It's really neat. It makes the food taste fantastic. And I look so forward to seeing you guys next week. Have a fantastic week ahead. Bye.